The headlines: search by security forces fails to turn up missing Marcelle Smith. Mayor Mottley warns of serious problems at sewage plants that threaten health. And the Windies have made a good start to the second test in Sri Lanka. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, October the 22nd, 2015.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your news, your time, your way.
An early morning search by the security forces for missing woman Marcelle Smith has turned up empty. Acting on a tip, more than 60 policemen and soldiers combed the lowlands in Christchurch, but police spokesman Assistant Superintendent David Welch said nothing significant was discovered. He said officers will continue to search for the 75-year-old who was last seen at a residence near her farm road St. Philip home on the evening of October the 12th. On Wednesday, her daughter Tanya and son Roger said they believe their mother is alive and is being held against her will. Opposition leader Mayor Mottley says serious issues with the South Coast and Bridgetown sewage plants threaten the health of residents of Christchurch and St. Michael. But she did not say what the issues were when she addressed the meeting of the Christchurch West Central branch of the Barbados Labour Party on Wednesday night, when pharmacist Adrian Ford was chosen as the party's candidate for the next election. Ms. Mottley called on Prime Minister Frandl Stewart to call her and investigate the matter before she takes to the stage again on Sunday. Companies waiting for VAT returns from government could soon have some cash in hand. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair said the Revenue Authority has cleared the backlog of 2013 income tax returns and the focus will now shift to VAT arrears. He said small businesses will get priority since they have more pressing cash flow constraints.
The timeline is to get it done as quickly as possible, given the circumstances. But we know we are operating in an environment where there are challenges, and therefore we can only do as much as we can do in the circumstances. But we want to do it in a way that does not continue to cause undue burden on companies.
JetBlue Airways says it is expanding its service to Barbados with the addition of a daily flight between Fort Lauderdale International in Florida and Grantley Adams International. Robin Hayes, the company's president and CEO, said the service will launch next April subject to government approval and seats will go on sale in the coming weeks. The new service marks the third U.S. city from which JetBlue will offer non-stop flights to Barbados. The airline first launched service from New York's JFK International in 2009 and will begin service from Boston's Logan International next month. It's been a terrific year for arrivals from the U.S. They were up 28% at September the 30th, and Tourism Minister Richard Seeley said the new flight is a significant step to ensure continued growth. The Tourism Product Authority is searching for local tourist attractions that may not be well known. CEO Kerry Hall says an audit is being undertaken of both traditional and non-traditional offerings in an effort to bring them into the mainstream. The attractions will be assessed and financial assistance will be offered where possible as part of a new Island Treasures project.
We want to know the traditional tourism attractions, but particularly the untraditional, lesser-known tourist attractions that may be overshadowed or undersold compared to the other more traditional attractions. So anything that is unusual, anything that is different, in addition to the Sandstone Sun, we want to showcase to our visitors. We want to do an audit that will assess the products on the island by volume and distribution and quality, by district and by parish. So we're going straight across this country looking for unique things that people are doing. We want to give a wider cross-section of Barbadians an opportunity to be brought into the mainstream tourism. And we also want to give the tourists a greater, a wider and a more diverse portfolio of things to do while they're here.
In more tourism news, Thompson Cruises of Britain has announced that the Thompson Discovery, the newest addition to its fleet, will be based in the new home port of Barbados in winter 2016 to 17. The vessel will sail from 3 different itineraries from the Bridgetown port, including the all-new Seven Shores itinerary, which is the first Thompson Cruises' first Caribbean itinerary to feature no full day at sea. Now, hardly a week goes by in these difficult economic times without a call for Bajans to get back to backyard farming and save themselves and the country some money. What do you think? Nation News took to the streets.
I think over the years, people have attached a stigma to it, but it is something that we should do in terms of getting back to backyard gardening because the cost of living is pretty high. And anything we can do to reduce the cost of food is welcome.
Folks should get back to backyard gardening because it's very important. We believe it will help cut down on the import food bill. It was done years ago and we never continue, you know.
Well, I think that they should go back to it because right now that is the best way for home security, to do your own farming. Other than that, it's a waste of time. You have to do it, go back to where it all started. Backyard farming is the only way.
Digital technology has completely transformed filmmaking and made it more accessible, judging by the numbers and the buzz in the industry in Barbados. The Ministry of Culture has got into the act with the launch this week of a digital media film project. Speaking at the ceremony, Permanent Secretary Ruth Blackman told a group of film students that by improving the standard of their products, they could be part of a bright future for filmmaking as a center of economic activity. In sport, West Indies left-arm spinner Jomel Warrican celebrated his test debut by capturing 4 wickets on the opening day of the second test in Sri Lanka. The home team were dismissed for 200 after tea, after the pace attack took care of the top order, with Warrican, a Vincentian-born Barbadian, helping to clean up the tail. When play was halted early because of fading light and the threat of rain, West Indies were 17 for 1 in reply. Shea Hope was strapped LBW in the first over. The 23-year-old Warrican said he got some words of advice just before the match from Sir Garfield Sobers, himself a left-arm spinner in his prime.
One thing that stuck to me in my mind of what he said was that you have many games to come, and he expects great things from me. So it felt special from a great man that those words came out his mouth, to be honest. It really warmed my heart, that's the truth.
Does Gary coming and speaking to the team yesterday prior to the practices have any influence on the performance today?
Well, to be honest, Gary has been coming from Barbados, so he has been talking to the Barbados team throughout the first class season, so I'm accustomed to him talking to the guys, talking to me personally, even coming to the next sessions and having one-on-one with me. So he also gave me a lot of advice and helped me on some different skills while playing for Barbados, more than playing for West Indies, to be honest. But even in his talking with the West Indies team, still remind you, well, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and remember that you gotta stick to the basic, don't complicate stuff.
And finally, there was a time when men wore hats as the hallmark of a gentleman, from the poorest worker to the well-to-do. Well, at least they did in Britain, where a magazine has launched an editorial plea for the British public to remember their manners, warning the fall of the hat from fashion has led to a loss of courtesy and dignity. Headwear, it says, lends dignity and ipso facto dignified behavior to its wearer. Lamenting what it calls the deplorable fashion for baseball caps, the magazine Countryfile says it is high time for the hat to be readopted. I suppose it'd be like Pharrell Williams, a dapper dresser, if I ever saw one. Surely he doffs his hat in mannerly fashion. And that's Nation News for Thursday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.